Hello everyone. I hope you're having a great evening. This is going to be a completely new thing that you're going to be seeing hopefully today. Something a bit different. It's still live, kinda, but I'll get to the live stuff in a little bit. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Right. 10 past 10 on 1st of May. I just doing some stuff, but it's all arrived. I've got more stuff coming. We've got starter set, the tags. We have tag 2021 update pack. RIP. Got that really cheap, which is why I bothered. I also have a pair of Giants, but that's just because that was the only thing in Free Fire I don't have. We've got Targ Heroes 2. We have Dothraki Veterans. Oh, look. Get the nice the sheen off the recording there. Ooh. But yeah, Dothraki Veterans. And a unit of Dothraki Harakars as well. So that leaves me with 2 Screamers, 1 Outriders, 2 Veterans, the Blood Riders, and the 2 Harakars. It's currently what's arrived. I've got Targ 1, 2, and 3, Neutrals 3. No, I've got Targ 2. I've got Targ 1 and 3, Neutrals 3, Freedmen, Pikemen, Swordsmen, Brazen Beasts. Yeah, 7. I've got those 7 on the way. And that should be everything that I need for Darlington in a week and a half. I'm not going to paint up all of it. I haven't decided what list I'm taking yet, but I'm going to try and paint a whole army and base it before next Saturday. I've made a mistake. Oh well. Okay, it's half past 12, half midnight. Now on the 3rd of May, not the 2nd. Sorry, I missed the 2nd. And I think I've decided on my lists. And we're going to also be playing up Blackguard. So I've got that off the shelf. Empty box because I've just opened it up and there's a load of Greyjoy and neutral stuff in here, which I'm going to have to take out. But yeah, unit of Blackguard to join the stuff. None of the other Targ stuff has arrived. And I'm going to be making a shop because I don't have any supplies. This is very empty. So yeah. Bugger. 1 day down and I've done nothing. Hell. See you tomorrow. Right, it's 20 to 7 on Friday, the 3rd of May. And I got some deliveries today. I also went to the shop. So there you go. There's some spray paint to do the base coat. Targ Heroes 3. Woo! Neutrals Hero 3. Woo! Unsullied Swordmasters. Woo! Yeah. I've still got 4 more boxes to arrive, including Mother of Dragons. And some other bits and bobs. Targ Heroes 1. But I am going to take this lot and those Blackguards as well. And I need to box them and spray paint them. Ow. I'll be back in a bit, I guess. Right. Later on the 3rd of May, it's now just gone 7. I've got the whole army here, except for 5 models. I'm missing Barristan, Zarro, and Jorah from Targs 1, Drogon from the Mother of Dragons box, and Dany from the Mother of Dragons box. So 5 models, all of which are characters, and I like painting characters properly. And this is the rest of the army. Outriders, Screamers with Hago, Screamers with Jorah, Double Harakar, Unsullied with Ramsay Reek, which are somewhat coated, unit of Blackguard, unit of Stormcrow Mercs, 5 NCUs in total, obviously the 2 missing, plus Miri, Dany, and Varys. Oh, crap. I better crack on then. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Right, so it's 1:30 on Sunday, so I didn't do an update on Saturday because I forgot and it was too late. I didn't want to wake anyone up. But yesterday, so Friday night, I spray painted everything. So everything got spray painted and undercoated. Then yesterday was airbrush day while my wife was at work. So I've done all the horses now airbrushed, including the Harakars, which is nice. I've gone for like white lines, so it has actually been done. It's not just me being white. And then I've got that whole list. The horses are done. Except the mains and stuff, but that's easy. And also got a base coat on for those guys. So apart from the characters, which I don't, it's a separate issue. We are now 5, 6, 7, 8 units. 8 units. I did get a unit of Unsullied Pikemen arrive as well, but they're not in the army. 8 units. And today's skin tones. So I'm going to do the skin tones. I think I'm just going to do 2 skin tones for the Dothraki, kind of like a darker skin tone and a slightly lighter one. Obviously, Dany and Jorah will need a slightly different one as well. But apart from that, yeah, it's going to be darker, kind of like darker Caucasian, and then kind of like Middle Eastern kind of skin tones I'm going for. And that will be everybody, which is the skin tones today. So I'll do everyone's skin tone today. And then it will be taking 2 units, or the cavalry's 1, so that's kind of 1 unit. And then each of the other 3 units are 1 a day, and then doing their kind of armour for that unit. Or whatever the ancillary weapons might be, etc., etc. Still a bit of a way to go, but hopefully I'm getting there. I cut my finger open as well, which was really clever. That was making food. I should be fine. Still haven't had the dragons and Dany and Zarro arrive. Maybe I won't be fine. Right. A bit quieter. It's 3:15 on Monday morning, 6th of the 5th. Done all the flesh. I need to Reikland flesh shade some of them when I come to finishing them off. Yes, I'm cheating. People call it that. Lots of Agrax and Reikland flesh shade to clean them all up. I've stayed up late, and if they've never seen my armies before, I really like painting characters. So, done Jorah. You can't see it very bad. It's not going to load properly. But that is Jorah right there. That's okay. go. Done now. Obviously, basing and everything hasn't been done. That all gets done at the end. I think I've bitten off more than I can chew. We'll see. Yes. Right, it's 20 to 7 on Monday the 6th. Sorry. I just sat down thinking about doing Tourney ground. Part of me's not really in the mood. There's nothing really I want to talk about too much. I've got some ideas and stuff for the future, obviously. But yeah, I want to just crack on and get this hobbying done. I would gladly talk about some stuff, but I just don't think it's useful. And me just talking bollocks for 2 hours is not a useful use of my time. So yeah, I'm probably not going to do an episode this week, which is funny because you're all seeing this the week after. That's the plan. So yeah, it's I've been cracking on though, right? I've been doing armor on Unsullied. You can't really tell there, but there you go. The Unsullied are now armored, and I'm just doing the Blackguard here. A few of them at the front are armored. There's a bit more leather and stuff to do, and highlighting and stuff for those. I'm kind of shortcutting those a little bit. So hopefully you'll bear with me there. So yeah, it's still a lot to go. I finished Jorah, as I said this morning. Yeah. I've got these 2 units. If I can get these 2 units done today, the cavalry is only 12 models. I can do the cavalry in one night, I think. That leaves the Stormcrow Mercs, the characters, and the Harakars. I shouldn't have taken this up. I do not have enough time to do this. I'm going to try. I'm going to keep going. This was a stupid idea. Stupid. I'll see you this time next week then, I guess. Oh, it's 10 minutes past midnight. Now on the 8th. Still haven't had Mother of Dragons arrive with her Targs 1. The other 2 boxes coming in that delivery are not important, but those 2 are quite important. But yeah, I'm getting there. Gonna finish the Blackguards tonight. And I'll try and get the Unsullied done tonight as well. So that'll be 2 units finished. And then I still need to do the cavalry and the Stormcrows. Now the Stormcrows, there is a shortcut way I can finish those, so I'm not too worried, I think. But yeah, I still have the characters done, although I've basically done Theon. Danny won't take me long. She's doing 2 or 3 colours, really. Yeah, I have 3 days. I guess I'll update you tomorrow. 2 AM on the 9th now. Dragon Box and Heroes One arrive. That's Barry. So I've got some stuff to paint. The Unsullied and the Blackguard, you can just see the Unsullied down there. They're done. Need to wash them, but it takes like a second. All the horses are done. I just need to do some touch-ups on things like the Dothraki swords and the hair and the bracelets. That won't take long. I need to do the Harakars, but the lions are done. The horses are done. I just need to do the riders. That shouldn't take too long tomorrow. And then I've got all the characters to do and the Stormcrow Mercs. Now, the Stormcrow Mercs I'm going to keep simple. That won't take me long at all. And you can see there I've kind of did the dragon in black, then did like a coat of like a darky mid-tone grey to try and bring out his scales a bit. And then I've airbrushed his wings red and his body well. So I need to go through and do some touch-ups on the dragon and bring out a few of the key things and mesh it all together. But I think I can probably keep it quite easy and then just do the rock. I'll find a way. I might do it. I might actually do it. I've got 2 days left. I need to base them all, of course. I'm gonna get a thing of sand and run them all through a PVA. Through sand. Should do. I did the Bolton banner. Pretty good on camera. So he's now done. Well, I think I can do it. I'll see you in about. Right, it's 10:30 on the 9th. I still have a lot to do. I'm going to have to shortcut on the Stormcrow Mercs. I think I can work something out with them. The dragon I might really shortcut and always come back to and finish later on. I'll probably do that. I've got 7 characters still to do. And the cavalry are nearly done. I just have a few more touch-ups. Going through and doing leather as we speak. Tonight and tomorrow I've got the sand for basing, so I can do the basing in one go. It should only take about an hour. Do that downstairs, and I can leave that overnight. Yeah, I'll crack on. It's 5 to 10. No, it's not 5 to 10. It's 5 to 7 on the 10th of May. I know that some of the guys have already appeared in Darlington. I think the Scots are the Scots are down, in fact, and they've met up with Steve, Darkman. So they're over in the other side having a drink. Paul Hayden has just been apparently at Whitby having a swim out. Yeah, it's all gearing up. I've still got a few more to go. All the cavalry's done. All of the infantry is done. I've just done it all. I need to wash it still, but I have to do that in one big sweep of everything to wash it. I then need to go through with my airbrush and do a black ring to do the edges of the bases in black. It's Danny, by the way. And then once that's done, just take everything downstairs, PVA glue it, and get it on the table to be PVA glued, and stuck down with all the sand that I've got downstairs. And once the sand is on, I'm done. I might give them a quick once over with like a squeezy PVA glue type solution, so it kind of locks in the sand a little bit more. But I'm nearly there. I think I can do it. I've got Miri is basically done. Jorah and Danny, Queen of Marina, basically done. Just got Danny, Khaleesi to do, and Barris and Zarro, who have barely started. And then Drogon. Any extra time, any time I have, I'm going to base Drogon, do everything with Drogon first, because I can do the rocks and everything. And once that's all done, any extra time is going to be working on the dragon that I can have. So I'll work on the dragon all night if need be. I just want to get all the other bits and bobs done first. I can do it. I can do it. 100%. I can do it. I'm going to crack on. I will see you at the end. Yeah. I'll take that off. That's my music. I've painted everything. The dragon still needs more work, but as I said, extras. So now I'm going to get the air gun out, and I'm going to go doing black ring around every model, including the base of the Harakars. And then I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to base them. And I need to PVA glue them as well. So I'm going to mix up a paste, take that down, and then just paste, run them through sand, put on side. Paste, run through sand, put on side. So that's the next job. I'm going to have some dinner first. I'm going to crack on with that. It's 5 minutes to 9. It's 2 AM. I'm in the garage because my wife has work early tomorrow, but I've done all the basing. It's all done, so we'll have a quick look. Taken some photos and shared them with the patrons anyway, but here goes. It's one list without Miri, because Miri's over here. So yeah, that's everything. I'm finished. I'm up in 5 hours. I also want to give this all a quick spray with some acrylic varnish to lock it all in, which I'll do out in the garage anyway, and then let it dry overnight. I've done it. We'll review at the weekend, I guess. I will see you in the morning. That's round 1 over. Played against the always pleasurable Bry. So watch for his blog that will be coming out probably this week for the event and for the games, obviously. But yeah, really, Bry's great. Absolutely lovely guy. And yeah, he played his Ramsey list against my Jorah, and I drew both charge rerolls and double advances with the charge rerolls on round 1. He advanced forward and I went sod it. Hago and Jorah both took on opportunity charges on like 5s and 6s. Both of them had rerolls, so I thought why not. Round 5 I'm probably not going to lose much. We'll see how it goes. I missed the Hago charge with the reroll, so he just nothing past the panic. And then Jorah missed his, got the reroll and hit it on a 6, and decimated Ramsey. I was going first next round, open with swords, Khaleesi, kill him, 3 VPs in the bag for killing his commander, and then Jorah racks up another kill, and then play some betrayals at the end, because why not? Ended up 14-1, and killed 3 units. Brian saved more armor saves on his Bolton Bastard Girls for the majority of the game than he did number of hits. It was one of those games. He did not have a good time trying to kill me. I failed a lot of panics, which you kind of expect against Boltons. But yeah, it was a good game. Really fun to play. Brian's a lovely guy as well, which helps. And that's round 1 done. So I will crack on, have some food, then we'll go into round 2. 2 more today. See how it goes. Also repping the Sunday Slaughter. See you later. That's the end of round 2 against Shane. Say hello.
Hello.
It's Shane. It was a good game, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was really fun. I realised how well we're touching on with the game. Coming against obviously an experienced pro, but it was a good game. I learnt a lot. Yeah, hopefully I'll do better in the next game, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll find out who you're up against next, but yeah, good luck. Played Shane loads, played last year at NGT,
yeah,
played in Leeds, and we've played, where else was it, Scotland or?
We played NGT here.
Yes.
And Leeds.
Yes, that's it, yeah, so this is the 3rd game, yeah. And each time you played a different faction, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
learn the game. Still haven't done it.
Still learning the game, he says. I'm pretty sure, aren't you pretty good though? You do pretty well in tournaments most of the time.
Yeah, I do.
You're
I am
good
more
player.
above average. Yeah, I'm just not reaching like the heights of like winning it or anything like that. But I just enjoy the game. You know, it's just a fun game.
It is a fun game, except when you don't attack Queen and Marine and don't give me free panic texts.
I'm not doing that.
But no, it was a good game. Moral of the story was Ramsey on 1 wound with Fueled by Slaughter.
Yeah, it could have changed the game massively, but it's just like a dice game, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, I was asking a lot anyway, because what I did is 8 hits, and
Yeah.
you're looking for 5, so you were going to save some. It was a big ask, but you survived, healed right the way up.
Literally 1 wound.
And then that was game, I think. It was over from then.
But yeah, it was a good game. Really enjoyable and great opponent, obviously.
Yeah, no, I always enjoy playing you. Make it always a challenge. I mean, I always lose, but yeah, but it's always fun.
You get wins eventually. You know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, best of luck. All right.
No, thank you. Best of luck now, again, mate.
Cheers, mate. That's round 2 then. Shane, lovely bloke, and yeah, just had lunch. We had lunch as well. Just had a burger, and gonna go back in and start prepping for round 3. Probably have a Coke or something. It is a lovely day out here, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. You probably saw the sun before. But yeah, cheers, guys. Oh, that's round 3 out of the way. I got game against Steve Butler, Dartman, who is a great guy, absolutely legend, and he'll probably be watching this. So hi, Steve. Yeah, really nail biter in Feast for Crows. I was genuinely, I thought, screw it, I think I've lost. I think he's in a position where I've barely killed anything. I have killed Vic, but I'm gonna kill Vic, but he's gonna bail on bringing back on. I'm in a really bad position where Vic is basically going to just start cleaning up. I've already lost Hago's unit, I've already lost one of the Harakars. And then I just managed to eke out a charge with a unit of Dothraki Outriders and played fancy manoeuvre to get into the rear of the bowmen, finishing them off and surging away from all the objectives, putting him in a position where he couldn't really catch me. And then it worked out if he killed Jorah's unit, which I thought he was going to do, and then captured 3 victory points, he still wouldn't have enough points to win, and I win 9-8. So yeah, really good game against Steve. Fucking hard. And we've got one more game, and there's a Targ mirror. So I'm going to go see how that goes. Yeah, in a bit. Right, on the way to the curry. That was round 4 done. I played against Dom, Violent Dom Goose, played against Dom Hill. And yeah, we played a Targ mirror, Drogo versus Jorah, and yeah, really kind of, we were a bit tentative in round 1 with movement, but obviously got huge movement values. He's got double Outrider, Veteran, and Drogo Blood Riders, with Zaro, Zaro, Illyrio, and Quaith, and I'm on my Jorah list. I had a little think about before the game and in the run-up to the tournament, playing against Drogos. You just want to make sure you're on top of the Zaros, maxing out the Zaros and the healing, because one of the things that doesn't really exist in Drogo is much healing outside of Illyrio, and that's a massive tempo loss. So when the game starts going, it's really difficult for Drogo to keep up, especially with Hago with Fueled by Slaughter. I only have to do a little bit of healing that makes him inefficient at killing me, and it's great. So yeah, I end up tabling Dom, losing Hago and a Harakar in the process. On Honed and Ready though, so you know, it was real all-out slaughter. Talked to him after the game, and yeah, Screamers are just really point effective, and I like the double Outriders. You know, I was a big double Outrider fan in the last versions, but Screamers are just so good right now. Why wouldn't you pick Screamers? Yeah, 4 for 4. Playing probably Dan against Dan tomorrow morning, and in Banners and Butchery, I think. Fun. So off to the curry now, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. That's game 5 out of the way. Game 5 done and dusted. Played against Dan. No one's met Dan before.
Hello.
This is the Dan that we talk about constantly, who's a great painter. How was that?
I got bummed.
Fair.
Yeah, Mickey schooled me.
Yeah.
Game 1 I'd not played before, but Mickey knew what he was doing, and Yeah, it was a bit of a standoff first few rounds when no one wanted to make a move. But after that, I blinked first. Came out with my sand skirmishers, and Mickey proceeded to take my army apart. So fair play to Mix.
It's good fun playing Dan. We play quite a lot, obviously, at events now. We used to play down the club when we actually played at the club. But yeah, no, it was a solid game. Banners and Butchery, feeling?
I think it's an awful game mode. I think it's an awful game mode for competitive play because if you've got two people who know what they're doing, obviously not me, they'll just stand and look at each other, and then they'll put it down as points on table or whatever else. It's
or you'll get over aggressiveness and someone over like you did.
Someone blinks first, moves out of the line and just gets exposed, and it's if Mickey had activation advantage. And once you've got that, you just pick the army apart. So yeah. Lesson learned: don't play Mickey.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, no, so that's game 5 over and done with. Thanks to Dan, obviously, for being great. And first time we've ever played where both of us are fully painted, I think.
It is.
Which is hilarious.
It is. With Mickey's army that he's had for 14 days, not his army that he's had for 5 years.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so that's game 5 out of the way. We're going to game 6. I can't not be best Targ now, which is nice. Dan is actually competing for best Martel.
Yeah, the two Martels are 4-1. So yeah,
I did crush him on day 1 for you. So hopefully,
cheers, thank you. That might just edge me it.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm edging Dan. Jesus Christ.
That's a normal Friday night, mate.
But yeah. So yeah, we're going to game 6. I think I'm probably playing against Adam Sargent with his Starks. His really aggressive game plan, but in Game of Thrones. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, all right then. See you guys in the next one. Part of Tourney Ground anyway, so if you watch the first 10 minutes of that or whatever, it might be longer, like 20 minutes. Right, so that's game 6 done of the weekend. I played against Sarge, who is the player I lost to here last year when I was playing Greyjoys. He absolutely battered me with a Lannister strategy with High Sparrow, wasn't it?
It was High Sparrow.
Yeah, High Sparrow, yeah. So it was a bit of a rematch in the last game. I knew he's really aggressive. He says he's like a newbie. He says like he's not very experienced, but he plays a lot of tournaments. Just plays very aggressively.
Only play tournaments.
Exactly. Only occasional game against Tim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the odd game against Tim. But yeah, a very aggressive player, and we had a bit of a barnstorm, didn't we? Kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it came down to just manoeuvring on Game of Thrones and scoring points. But yeah. So Sarge, how do you think the game went?
I made many tactical mistakes against the best player in the
No, you don't say that.
world. So
No.
if we look at stats,
Well, yeah,
the high
stats
ground.
ranking, yeah.
But looking back, the tactical mistake I made was the Tully Cav were placed too aggressively, and I didn't expect you to be that manoeuvrable and get round the rear of the unit. Because I'd placed them in a position where I had overranking for side charges, which I knew you wouldn't kill me on a side charge.
Yeah.
But that's how.
Yeah, I mean, you did the right thing, but I had the fainting, and then I get to your back, and it only means you can only get one of your 2 units engaged, and it's really risky because I'm going to lose a unit, because you're definitely going to charge me and then probably open swords kill me. I know that. It's just a question of, like, if I kill your Tully Cavaliers in the process with a lot of the card play, I had a lot of aggressive cards, like, I'm trading an 8-point, which was the Hago Screamer unit, for Tully Cavaliers at 8 points, and I'm happy with that. Like, that's a fine trade.
Yeah.
Keep it even. Less manoeuvrability for you because less cav on the board means I've got a bit more freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Vanguard were the next unit that I was chasing down to kill. And as soon as those units are dead, I have no interest killing Great John and the Berserkers, which I think a lot of players probably tried to do. And
the only time I've played this list is against dragons, so everyone just ran dragons into them.
Yeah, exactly. Don't play dragons.
the end of all my games ended up just being Great John's cards onto dragons. So like the end of Reign of Fire, where the guy runs at the dragon with an axe.
Yeah. Amazing. But yeah, no, solid game, really enjoyable. Best Stark, I think still. Still best Stark. He's played 7 games with Stark. He played a practice game with Tim, then the 6 games of this event. He's one of these. He needs to go to more tournaments. Play more tournaments.
I will.
Especially with Tim. Tim gets all the painting prizes, and you'll do well getting best in factions and eventually winning them.
He has an interesting challenge. I'll set you.
Yeah, go on.
Send me your collection, and I will write you the list.
Oh, God,
because you
no.
said that you liked my Brundon list.
I do, yeah. I like it, yeah.
So let me write you
No.
a tech list.
Here you
write
go.
a normal list.
Here you go, Saj.
And I'll give you my collection and you write
Right,
one for me.
so here's a good one. Because this video is obviously part of a whole series where 10 days ago I bought a Targ army from scratch, painted it up, got it ready, tournament ready, and played it, right? I got a load of extra Targ stuff as well. So, I don't know when the next event is going to be, but probably not LGT, I don't know. I'll probably go to another event. I will message you,
Yep.
and I'll give you a faction,
Okay.
and you can write my list for the
Deal.
event. Yeah? Let's go.
If you want to do the exact same to me,
No.
if you
I'll
do-
let you do your own thing.
you do the exact same to me, because I enjoy the puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
like I've started Starks using Tim's army just to do it.
Yeah.
You write the list for me, and I will enjoy playing it. And
Awesome.
we'll have a little friendly gentleman's bet of see who places high.
Okay.
So we can't screw each other over, but we can't.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll do something like that. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We'll obviously get the awards and everything in a minute. But yeah, obviously congrats, Sarge,
Absolute
on Best
pleasure.
Stark as well. And yeah.
Absolute pleasure on
Yeah,
being
you too.
stomped by you.
Anyway, we'll see you guys in a bit.
So yeah, that was the event. Yeah, it was really good. Alan and Aaron have done a superb job. Alan for obviously arranging a hell of a lot of the event. Superb. As always, Alan does try to make his events good and fun and puts a lot of effort into what he does, including making a lot of stuff himself. So I'm not going to sit here and say other TOs don't. I know a lot of TOs work really hard for their communities, but Alan is a rock. Yeah, smashing it, Alan. And then Aaron as a TO was great, laid back, chilled, dealt with everything easily. And to be honest, the UK scene doesn't have many issues anyway. There were barely many questions at all. I think most of the questions that came out, from what I understand, it was like Aaron would just be, oh yeah, it's this. Most of it like timing related. So yeah, like overall, it was a really good weekend. Aaron did capture, not top table, but he captured 6 games, 1 from every round. Between ideally, I think 2 painted armies he tried to get on, but also some of the DMG guys and things like that. So he's going to make sure the audio is all good because he's had issues with audio before. But he's going to release those hopefully on the DMG channel from the 6 rounds of the event. So look forward for that. There's some really nice painted armies and some really interesting play. Yeah, overall, really happy. Obviously, win the event. There's the throne, limited edition throne thing. That is same as the one that Carlo got. Obviously not the exact same because it's a different number, but it's the same as the one that Carlo got last year. So that's cool. And also, has become a bit of a kind of like tradition at the NGT, a nice slate for the faction, in this case Targaryens. That will go with the Greyjoy one, which is somewhere in this box here. Turns out when we moved house, I didn't think of putting them in clever places. I just put them all in boxes and then never really unpacked. Okay, so Targs. Jorah being my most used commander of the weekend. I did play both lists. The Queen of Marine did make an appearance against Martel. But I played 2 Martels actually. I chose not to play the Queen of Marine into Dan's Martels, specifically because of the game mode banners and butchery. The cavalry list was much more impactful for that game mode, although I do prefer Queen of Marine for Martels, specifically Barry, being able to Barry onto my Unsullied Pikemen, meaning they can never rising temperatures them, which means they can never have their healing switched off. Unsullied Swordsman. And that just keeps the Ranzi Reek Unsullied Swordsman alive, because the Fuel by Slaughter, as you will find out when I do some game reviews, is very silly. So yeah, all in all, very happy with the 2 lists. Generally speaking, it went well. Picked things for the right order, I think. And yeah, being able to kind of like I played a Jorah versus Drogo matchup, which was nice. And and tabled a Drogo with a Jorah list, which I think is funny as well. Didn't play into any dragons, ironically. A lot of Targ players there, but no dragons. I did have a solution for them, so it wasn't kind of like scary for me. But I did want to try to see if my lists would work into that kind of stuff. Also, obviously, minimal free folk, minimal Baratheon. So no real explanation there, and also no Lannisters, which is kind of crazy. No neutrals either, but like that's not weird. No Lannisters is kind of crazy, certainly in the UK, where Baratheon and Lannisters have usually been the highest pick of factions the majority of tournaments. Yeah, overall, fairly happy with how it all turned out. I'll talk through kind of like deployment and talk through the lists and do some game recaps, but overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I guess it's on to the next one. Right, so that was that. The question is now, am I still live? Or is this a recording? This is live. This is me talking to you live. Yes, in answer to Evil Sponge's question, I would consider pre-recording tournament games and commenting on them. Yeah, and I was going to do something a little bit like this today anyway. I've had a few requests to break down a few elements, so I've loaded up something into TTS while I was watching that back and sit along with you. And yeah, it was as Dan says there, a DWG sweep. It was pretty good. Nicest guy, best painter, and tournament winner. With not necessarily the winners you'd expect in each category. And yeah, I would get a tripod. In case you don't know, I was just using my mobile phone the whole time. And those of you who do know, this mobile phone is a piece of crap. So it is a long time. I used to have a small, not GoPro, but something similar. But it's somewhere. I have no idea where it's gone. Probably lost somewhere in the move or somewhere big time before that, so I couldn't use that. But yeah, there is some longer term solutions to do something like it if I continue doing stuff. So yeah, and hopefully the format a bit different, giving you kind of like that insight of pre-tournament, during tournament, post-tournament, that whole kind of shebang. And really the whole purpose of it was to look at that kind of like, to some extent, the newer player experience in terms of if you wanted to attend an event and you just got into the game and you were looking at making some lists and just assuming that money isn't an option, which I know isn't the case, and I'll make that very clear, how you can get to a fully built army and fully painted and what kind of commitments there are. I mentioned getting the Targ starter and then having the Targ upgrade pack, yeah, the 2021 faction pack. Now, I didn't mention it in the video because I hadn't twigged at the time, and then by the time it had come up, I just forgot to mention it. The Targ starter I bought was a sealed inbox starter, and it came with the 2021 cards in it. So the update pack wasn't really required for tactics cards. Obviously for some it was and some it wasn't, but then I'm having to print them out anyway, and I got it cheap, so I bought it, and it was really useful to use as card backs for other stuff, but not actually. Like, they're actually just not useful to buy. I personally can't recommend them anymore, especially if they're going to set you back even just a tenner. It's not worth it. I also made, because again, if you're looking for prize support, guys, for any TOs out there, anyone running their own communities and things like that, one of the biggest things missing at the moment is pass tokens, right? Is that there are lots of things you could use as pass tokens, order tokens, whatever. But pass tokens are not in the game. They don't exist as a physical thing. So interesting pass tokens could be an interesting thing to create. I created these. I just knocked something up on... This is AI generated art. I'm not lying to you. It's AI generated art. But I knocked up pass tokens like that, which I then just put in cards, and I gave... If I out-activated my opponent, I gave them pass tokens. And they can keep them. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that they're It's like in a crappy old Targ card back in a sleeve that I've got loads of. So there you go, just have that, use that as a pass token in all your future games, and it's a physical thing you can flip over, you can hold it in your hand if it's got a different card back. It's obviously not one of your tactics cards. Your opponent will know that, etc, etc. Then you can just say, start a turn, just like it would be, start of turn, play a pass token, boom. Lovelock says they just need full print on demand for all cards. They are getting there. We've seen the new update card pack things that they've released. They forgot to use them, says Brian. Yes, Brian did forget to use this. But yeah, they've got these kind of update card packs. The problem being is that those update card packs only have the stuff for Season 4 in, right? Right. This is, again, like, we're in a position where I think Simon don't quite get it, or someone doesn't get it, because you can't just have Season 4 update packs. Because Season 3 happened, and Season 2 happened, and Season 1 happened. So you could buy 2021 cards, but 2020, Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3, like, I got some Season 3 packs when I was in the US, right? They were a thing on the shelves. They couldn't be bought, but they were there. They were handed out. And now we've got access to Season 4. But you need Season 1 and Season 2 still, right? And you can't obtain Season 1, 2, and 3. So, like, they need to step the game up a little bit. I think moving to Season 4 is great, but rather, they shouldn't have done Season 4 update packs. They should have done, here are the new update packs. If you have a 2021 faction upgrade pack, you can then purchase this thing from, is it Firebase or whatever, and this will give you all the cards you need for Season 4. From all the changes logged between 2021 and Season 4, which is a lot of changes. So I think it's a good step in the right direction. If Simon do see this, I think you're moving in the right direction, and it is good to see something that was discussed for so long and promised to the community finally actually arrive. But yeah, they could ultimately be doing more. As an actual pass token, you see, and they're in just a Lord of the Rings Sauron, I think it is. But yeah, pass token like that. If anyone's wondering why it's a dragon with a pass token, it isn't just because I'm playing Targs, right? My 8 activation list doesn't have a dragon. The 7 activation list has a dragon. Most of the time, I'm going to be giving pass tokens to someone when I'm playing my 8 and they're playing a 7. So the dragon is resting. Hence the reason the dragon is sitting on the pass token, because the dragon isn't here. That was the logic. The early mornings, late nights, whatever you want to call them, clearly drove me insane. But yeah, so there's a lot of movement in the right direction from Simon. Random other piece of news for those of you who kind of are following, but I don't know if people care, actually, to be honest, but I'll say it. They've had the GameFound Tactics campaign has had the prize money for LVO and for US Nationals applied, right? So I went into the pledge manager and I realised, oh, it's going to cost me £1 for my pledge. Because I think you have to make it £1 for the account to exist. But I've got a huge amount of discount now on that, which is amazing. So I'm going to get the whole thing, plus a load of ancillary stuff for some of my club mates for literally £1, which is awesome. And the LVO guys will hopefully get theirs sorted for those that wanted that, as well as Binish. So hopefully he gets his sorted as well. So they're really positive. Everything's moving in the right direction. I can't complain, right? I can't complain. The other piece of news that we saw is that Simon have rescinded their previous statements around passing down qualification spots for US Nationals. It doesn't affect most of us, but for any US players, if you are competing in a tournament and there are US National spots up to grab in the regionals, they were told previously that the first 2 got spots or whatever it was, and those weren't passed down. So if you won a spot already and you came first again, you just reduced the number of people at US Nationals who were invited. They've rescinded that and they've said you can pass down now for previous winners can pass down to other people, which it makes more sense. You were only going to drive people away with that initial decision, so I think this is a real positive and move in the right direction. So yeah, that's actually basically it for the news. I wanted to give another shout out to the guys running NGT, because NGT, I mean, it really is like, it's in my hometown, right? It's like a mile and a half away from where I live. It's a pathetic excuse not to turn up. So I obviously do turn up. But they do a great job. Alan is spot on. And Alan, some of the stuff he creates is awesome. I said it in the video, but hopefully, I know that he was talking with Carlo anyway, but I had an idea when I was there that I'm going to float with Carlo for Alan to potentially make some things for the Invitational. As like a kind of donation prize support type thing. And Carlo's great, and Carlo organises tons of stuff, so Carlo probably doesn't want it or has already got other things in place, whatever, but there's just so much cool stuff that could be done, and then international players coming across will get to sample some of the stuff. I'm not suggesting things like the slates and stuff, but we had some other ideas as well. It's just cool things that could be made. Yeah, so that's it. The Targs, right? Targs. Why did I decide on my two lists? The first list, the Jura list, which I played 5 out of 6 games with. The Jura list is just a list that I like. I think the Hurricars at 4 points are very effective, and anyone who says, "Oh, but they just die," is like, yeah, they just die. They're a 4-point unit. They just die. Like, yes. They just die. What do you expect? And then they don't die, right? There's terrain benefiting you. There's like a weirwood, anything like that. And it's just like, if they take a charge at 6 wounds on a 6/5 and you don't kill them, it's such a fuck on for your opponent to then have to spend another action killing them. You have to be very careful of overrun and overrun triggers from those animals, because they are easy to kill, and anything that's got overrun triggers, your Great Johns, your Vix, your Drogos, they can't just be used to roadblock those, because they're just going to act as a speed boost most of the time. But like, what the hell does a Baratheon do against a Hurricane? It charges you at the end of the round, and it has 6 wounds. You don't control your objective anymore, bro. Fuck off. And then it opens around and goes 7 dice on 4s, or even 7 dice on 3s, and it might not kill the Hurricane, especially if you open with swords elsewhere. Heal it up, sudden retreat out. I'll talk about that in a second. So many things you can do with the Hurricane, and some factions just really don't have really solid solutions. So yeah, I think people really sleep on the Hurricanes as a good unit. People are like, oh, I'll have a 1 of here and maybe a 1 of there. Like, mate, 2, please. So I said in the video as well, Screamers are great, right? Screamers are the definition of glass cannon 6-point cavalry, which is what you want to pay for at 6, right? You paying for kind of like medium cavalry and something like Outriders, Stark Outriders in particular, is like fine, but like, just don't care. Like, it's not that I don't like. I quite like Stark Outriders with the 3-inch shift, but they're not the main component of the list and why it works. The main component of the Jura list is the 2 Screamer unit. The 2 Screamers who will just go, I'll charge. Like one of the units will just charge the enemy. And usually Hago. And you go, Christ. I can't reposition because you're out activating me. And there's a second Screamer unit that's going to charge me. And both of them had vulnerable tokens and Sundering on the charge. Like, a very nice combo. You can't weaken Hago. You can give units rerolls with Targs in melee combat now. You can with Khaleesi, right? And you can just kind of go, I'm going to slam these 2 Screamers into you. And I'm going to kill your unit, because that's 7 dice on 3s. With Sundering and vulnerable tokens. And if you get Jorah even remotely near the flank, Panicked, weakened as well. Like, what are you gonna do? So yeah, Abiscus as well. Jordan asked a great question. How did the 2-point Hago work out for me? I really liked it. That's not to say that it was like highly impressive, and did I need that 2-point spend? Could I have gone elsewhere? I really, really like it. Being able to bring Hago back into Jorah's unit as well. So you are being a bit gung-ho with Hago. But the idea is you can just bring Hago back into Jorah's unit. And then you just keep going, right? The big thing is there is a rise of weakened tokens in the game. If you look at Greyjoys with people using Sandor or Trappers, you've got people, Dany, Mother of Dragon, Queen of Marine, Vargos, etc., etc., etc. There are many people having kind of like weakened token, and I'm not going to call it weakened token spam, but even just Miri, right? Like Pycelle, Shay, people are favouring like a weakened token game plan, at least on like a global meta and a much more wider meta. Didn't see it as much at NGT, but actually it's not even true. I did see Sandors. I saw people running that kind of thing. And with weakened meta being around, yes, you're paying 2 points to make your screamers not weakened, but think of it like this. You're paying 2 points for Daenerys to be able to take off tokens you care about, so you can basically make Jorah not weakened, or even your Outriders. And you don't feel bad about not having the rerolls. It's just about removing the weakened tokens. That's basically it. And the other big thing is it raises your damage consistency, like through the roof, right? Basically, you're saying that you can't ever weaken some of my units, and one of my unit that you can't weaken has Fueled by Slaughter. It's going to keep itself alive because it's got consistent damage, and it's got consistent damage that you can't stop. Killing it is literally the only way. And that's the one thing that it wants you to do, is it wants you to kill it. Because it's fast cavalry. So if you want to kill it, you have to be in the positions which I dictate you to be in. And that's where the beauty of the Jorah comes in, because like, right, I'll pull you out of position with the Hago, with a Harakar, in support, because that's a threat. And then Jorah's hitting those flanks, and Jorah's hitting those rears, and Jorah's coming in and going, clean a sweep, get those, certainly the Blood and the Dragons. Jorah's coming in with a panicked, vulnerable, weakened token on the charge with 8 dice hitting on 3s. Bam, kill you, because you've probably taken a few wins at this point. Bam, kill you. Bam, kill you. Move on with our lives. Go and win games. The Outriders are a very good deterrent. Obviously, the precision is really handy. And again, using that precision and the Outriders, not to kill units. It's not about killing units with the Outriders. It's about bringing them low in life. I knocked off 3 or 4 wounds. I knocked off 5 wounds because you're only armor 5 or armor 6. I've knocked off 5 or 6 wounds. I wasn't trying to kill you. I just wanted to get you down a little bit lower, because then the Screamers become a threat. And I haven't explained why Jorah over Drogo, but I can, right? Drogo is a good commander. Drogo obviously is a good attachment. Iron Resolve and Expert Duelist, 2 good abilities. Drogo's cards, Assault Orders is good. The others aren't, right? How many people cycle lead by example? How many people cycle? They might as well just not exist in your deck, right? And having a thinner deck does raise consistency. But your commander cards, like, the one thing people complain about, right? The one thing people constantly say is a problem is the Targ base deck is weak. If Drogo's cards are only adding cycle to the deck, and there are only 2 Assault Orders, and Right by Attack's alright, to be fair to it. then all you're doing is more often than not cycling Drogo's cards for base Targ deck cards. And everyone seems to say, and they admit, that the Targ base deck is crap. So, if you have Drogo's cards that you're mostly cycling and will mostly be drawing new Targ base deck cards, well, that's not really much of a win, at least in the words of the people who say the Targ base deck is bad. They're explaining on one hand why the Targ base deck is bad. Then on the other hand, it's like saying, but I want to play it more often. I want to have more of those base deck cards in hand so I can use them. And it's like, well, what you want to do is discard them or get rid of them and things like that. But in that case, just bin the cards you can't use, or just discard them at the end of the round, and you'll not have to kind of cycle through, right? Just have better cards in your deck. Overrun is not that good. The improvement to Overrun, obviously very good. The making Overrun, obviously, with Drogo works really well. But I tell you what is a fan-fucking-tastic card, right? Because your opponent ends the round with a charge, and they're gonna open with swords, and you play Sudden Retreat. And you fuck right off. 6+ however many inches. And your opponent goes, shit, I now can't open with swords. And I go, yep. And I've got my Outriders over there who have positioned themselves, so I've got an angle on your archers or an angle on something like that. And I'm going to take advantage of the swords. Good work. People are predictable. And Sudden Retreat is very good. Like, I mean, the reason that we see success with Rob is Sudden Retreat is good. And with Zaro, specifically with Zaro, there's a lot of... Starks is a little bit of another thing, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But there's a lot of stuff in the game where if you take them down one rank, even if you're only saving 2 dice, that will take them from doing 12 wounds, or a potential 12 wound, or a potential 10, to doing like a potential of like 8, or even only 7 wounds. And that's not average, that's like maximum potential kind of level. That's very good, because all of a sudden you're saying your big charge that's going to have all these rerolls or what have you, it's like maximum damage is not even like, it's barely half a unit. Your maximum, I only have to get a little bit lucky, and it's not even luck, right? 5-up armor's fine, any terrain is fine. I'm playing the margin. 5-up morale, like, if you've got no morale modifiers, I'll probably pass a 5-up. You're playing that margin of basically saying, yeah, your attack's good, but I should probably survive 2. And if I survive 2, yeah, I might be on 1 or 2 wounds. But, like, if I'm surviving, I can do something. That's all that matters. Can I basically survive? Because then I'm still an activation, I'm still doing something, I'm still a pain in your ass. So, yeah, I think Sudden Retreat, especially with Zaro and things like that, I think it's so good. It's funny that Lubbock says it's great versus anyone but Starks. It's actually the other way with Starks. Obviously, Starks have like cat and ways to maximize dice rolls, etc. But what Zaro is very good for in Starks is Zaro's very good for hitting with your max dice, which Starks can't interact with. Starks will remove wounds from you, and if they don't play any max dice, you can sap them for dice as well, which is good. But the real big thing with Zaro is being able to buff your own attacks, because you can start killing things. And this brings me on to the last game that I played against Sarge. So someone asked me, I think Greg's asked me, how do you deal with kind of like really heavy aggression? I know that Aquazone also asked me this. So if those guys are watching, I'm gonna try and take you down the kind of like understanding of how you can try and counter these very aggressive lists. Now, You might not believe me when I say this. The NGT is random terrain. Okay. You really might not believe me when you see this. By the way, the link is in chat, Timu, to the event. It should open. Yeah, it does. That will take you to the lists that I used. So, we talk about aggressive lists. We saw Sarge playing Great Janumba, Mormont She-Bears, Veteran in Berserkers, Cavaliers Ravagers, Sansa Catelyn Roderick. Okay? This was a list. Very aggressive. For reference, he lost with his Brynden list in round 1, and then he played Baratheon, Mother of Dragons, Drogo, Jorah. So he played 3 Targs in a row after the Baratheon. And he wiped them all out. He wiped every other Targ player out. Yeah? The feature that you'll see, Dom didn't play any dragons, played as Dom, he played the same list I beat him on day 1 with, and that was Drogo, Blood Riders, Veterans, double Outriders. And Fuzzage played a triple dragon Drogo in Outrider, which is hilarious. I love that. So, yes. Okay. I don't think random terrain is not good, right? I'll put this out. Random terrain is not good. It is not good whatsoever. That doesn't mean that you can't use terrain to your advantage or not to your advantage, or that doesn't mean terrain is useless in random terrain, but it's just not good. There are many reasons I can try and explain why random terrain is not particularly good, and that's mostly because it takes longer to set up than just picking. So it adds time to the setup of the game rather than just picking your own terrain. Yep. Secondly, it can favour certain list archetypes and list developments with the way that certain terrain pieces exist or don't exist. And that's not positive necessarily. And also it's because, as it so happens, and then you're about to see, you can end up with games that look a hell of a lot like this. Alright? This is the terrain from my game versus Adam Sargent. A hedge against the wall, a hedge here, and there was one palisade, weirwood rolled. So it wasn't even a weirwood, right? We rolled a hedge. So it was I rolled a hedge. Adam rolled 7 to choose, and he picked weirwood. I rolled a hedge. He rolled a hedge. I won the roll, so I put the weirwood on one side of the board, not in the middle. I don't want the weirwood in the game. I want it on one side of the board. Just make it not really in the game. And then he placed a hedge on the board edge. I put one in the middle. Not on the objective. The objective's here, but I put it kind of here to the side, right hand side of it, and he put the other hedge here. We might as it's not entirely true. The hedge actually does do a tiny little thing in the middle of the game, but the hedges don't do anything. Like they just don't really do anything. This is just like if you played on this map, it would feel not at all different if you just remove these 3 pieces of terrain, and then you're basically saying that there is no terrain on the game board. And that's just because hedges are fairly crap, right? I'm not gonna lie to anyone and say that they're amazing, or that random terrain could be better, but it doesn't say you weren't supposed to have more than 2 of a terrain piece. It doesn't say that, as far as I'm aware. I don't remember reading that rule at all. I think it used something vaguely like that. Rings a bell, but I don't think that exists anymore at all in random terrain. And yeah, Brian, he had 4 hedges in a game in Leeds. Yeah. Like, it's just like, it's not good. Like, and the thing is, it's not even like that unlikely that happens, right? And that's not to say that it's like super common, but yeah, there's one mission that stipulated that. Yes. It was awesome because we didn't put them on the edges. Yeah, fair, Bri. Fair. If you don't do that, it's like fighting in bocage for a change. But yeah, this is ultimately why random isn't very good. And that's not to say that random is like it's going to change the game. But you've got the target list I've got here. So Jorah Screamers, Harakar, Hago Screamers, Outriders with the Miri, Zaro, Danny combo. And then on the other side, you've got the Great John Mormont, She-Bears, Veteran in Berserkers, Cavalier Ravagers with Roderick, Catelyn, Sansa. Most people would look at this and think, God, those Tully Cavaliers are going to be an absolute menace. As it turns out, they really weren't. And they were actually the linchpin of why I won the game. But there's a lot of people and there's a lot of game plans that would just get charged by this and killed. Right? And we saw that. I saw that throughout the event. Because Adam tabled 3 targs with this list. Now, admittedly, dragons are fairly easy to kill with this list. But rampant aggressive gameplay in random terrain where it's not obvious or easy to slow that aggressive gameplay up is going to probably win out, because most people are not very good at handling super aggression. Not very well. And they don't build lists to do that. Not really. So, this was the game. Yeah, the objectives are correct as well, so I've kind of laid it out so it gives you a real feel. So first of all, I wanted to tackle deployment. You can kind of ignore the terrain for deployment. The targ list is what I'm mostly focusing on here. I picked side and chose him to deploy first, as is standard. I think picking sides is useful, especially if you're on second terrain drop, actually, because you can skew the board in a second terrain drop with a certain type of terrain or a certain kind of angle of terrain and things like that, and then pick the side you want and force your opponent to deploy first. Deploying first with some factions is like neither here nor there. Other factions, making them deploy first is like really cool, really good idea, gives you an insight to what they're going to do. So he deploys, I think it's like Great John Umber, I think, just deploys basically in the middle of the board, first off. And I deploy Screamers. I think it's Hago Screamers right here, right? I am doing the target deployment here to show you kind of like how you deploy the list. And how you deploy this list is a fucking piece of piss because it requires literally zero thought. Yeah, it's a zero thought deployment. So you do that. Then he deploys a unit. He actually deploys his Ravagers over here, I think. He leaves the gap open so that he can fit in the Berserkers there if he wants to, and the Cavaliers. So he goes for about there with the Ravagers. And I follow up with the second Screamers with Jorah here. You'll notice that basically all I've done is deploy 2 units of Screamers, one with my commander and one without my commander, right next to each other in the middle of the board. Because they're 6 movement cavalry. They can go anywhere on round 1. Who gives a shit where they start? Start them in the middle. Gives them the most access to the most parts of the board. He's now on his 3rd deployment drop, and he deploys the Tully Cavaliers here. So he's already on his 3rd deployment drop, and he's only got 1 unit left, and I've not deployed anything I care about. And of course, I finish up this lovely deployment with a Harakar and outflank, and now he's deploying his 4th unit. And I've still not deployed anything of use or note. I go for the Outriders over here. On a bit of a slant, I think this weirwood is actually more like here, for what little it's worth. I go for the Outriders there, and this Harakar gets a nice little sideways deployment here to give himself a few inches extra if he wants it. So we go for something like that. Yeah, I'm not showing anything, I'm not telling anything with the deployment. It's a fairly open deployment. There's a lot of things that you can do. And as Evil says, yeah, your whole list is so quick that you can just go anywhere and do anything that you want. My opponent opts to go first because people don't like Harakars. So they go, I want you to deploy the Harakar. It means you can't deploy it on round 2 in my rear. and you can't deploy it on, and you know, deploying it on round 3 gives me the opportunity to potentially have some time between now and then. Of course, that's not how I look to play the game. So he says, I'll go first. And I go, cool, have you got any start of rounds? He goes, no. And I go, cool, I'll bring on the Harakar over here. I have no intention of bringing this unit on behind units. I'm not that interested in being fancy with the Harakar. All I look and go, cool, look at this deployment. I've gained like 9 inches on the deployment, maybe 10 inches on the deployment. It's a forward deployment of 10 inches. That's like a march for most infantry units. I'll take that. That's fine. That's all I care about, is getting further up the field. Even if I deploy it here, this is still better, because it go here or here. Either of these are still better than deploying here. Right? So I might as well just deploy there. I think he takes letters. It's like a Sansa letters or something. I'm Zaro onto bags to gain a Zaro token, because I really want a Zaro token. Save up. And also bags take off the token he just put down with letters, so no tokens on the board. And then I think it's like Cat or Roderick onto horses, can't remember which, and he navigates this unit over here. And what you kind of see is you start to see where the list kind of starts to get pulled out, because I think I do a 3-inch shift with Jorah here, if I remember rightly, with a field control, I think. I pass with Danny in this case because he's got no more tokens that are likely to come out. I think he might have done that with Roderick rather than Cat, because he's waiting with Cat to do a removal of Miri. So we end up waiting quite some time. I think he ends up marching here, or manoeuvring forward, I think, to here. Like so. And now actually the threat for me here is if he's got 5 cards in hand, he could just actually have swords. Assault orders with Cat, and this is a really good charge for him to make. So the Harakar comes back a little bit. I end up with the Harakar standing like there, activated. Still got swords open, but he's not going to make this charge. I'm outside of charge range. And he, whatever. And I think the Ravagers come forward. I think the Ravagers sit like here. And then I'm able to position the Outriders over... Well, I don't position the Outriders just yet, actually. I do the Harakar here to something like here. Just, you know, shimmying around, giving that kind of like view of I'm going to try and threaten this unit's going to die. To no one's goddamn surprise, these 2 units basically just stay in formation up the board. Nice and straightforward. In the meantime, I moved Jorah. I moved Hago to here, outside of like a maximum charge with a Swift Repo. So I'm sat like here. And then he cats onto crowns. I think it is. Which is fine. I can't remember if this is exactly right. And I mirror onto swords. I can't remember the exact order of this now. But anyway, I end up here and here, and I haven't shot him. I think it might have been the other way around. And I've put some tokens on his unit over here. And the thing is, this is where it starts to kind of go a little bit seesaw, is in round 2. Round 2 is where the game is opened up massively. And bear in mind, his list is very, very aggressive. Yeah, his list is very aggressive. Jorah repositions to about here. Exact measurements, exact distances, etc., and not kind of like... I think the Ravagers were more like here or something. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't exactly... it doesn't matter. That's actually the irony. I open with swords with Danny, in this case. I just open with swords, I shift the 2 forward, and I get a shot off into the Ravagers, and I strip off 5. He's outside of 6 of the Cavaliers at this point, which is a little bit of a mistake from Adam's position. There's some trading of things. I don't even think I did that, you know. I think I might have done horses instead of swords opener. I can't remember now. It's not that important. I think it might have been the swords. I think it was a horses opener actually with Zaro. I did a horses opener and I just kind of like moved this unit to like here or something. It was unimportant. Anyway, it ends up with me taking the swords and getting a shot off onto the Ravagers, removing a bunch of wounds. And then I've already blocked bags with Zaro at some point, Miris, what have you. I'm really worried about Swift Repo. That's what I'm really worried about, is him just suddenly closing the gap. This Harakar ends up diving down the side here. So he's like positioned here, and I managed to get a nice little march into his flank here. Positioned this way, but the intention next round is to then move out and be behind him. And this unit is here. Funnily enough, he actually just opts for the charge in round 3, which we'll cut to in a minute. But yeah, this is all there. It might have even been round 2. I think he just charges me and kills me. I'm pretty sure that might have been round 3. Anyway, he used passes on 1 and 2, specifically 1 and 2, because I out-activate him immediately. Which was a bit more of a mistake. I don't think he needed to use it on 1. 2, it was correct to use the pass token massively, as you'll see why in a second. Because this is where this is the analysis part that I want to show you all. 2, it was very important for him to do. 1, it wasn't important in my opinion. Like I don't think he should have passed. Right. Tully Cavaliers, he opts. He can't get a charge off, right? And he knows that he has the same activations as me, but I'm not going to engage, and this unit's not going to be able to get anywhere. So he positions like so. And this is the beginning of the end of the game. And the end of the game takes a long time, but this is the beginning of the end, because this is a weak unit already. Taken 5 wounds or something. I have a second shot from the Outrider, so we're going to do some more to them in a minute. I think they're down to 5 at the end of everything. The panic has gone, if I remember rightly. So there's something like this. I am on the objective now, is the one thing I am. So it's something a little bit like that. And what we actually have happen, something like that. What we have happen, really interestingly, this is also Panic to Weaken from Miri. The Weaken was still on. I'd given another token that he'd removed with Cat. Right. I have an option. This is activated. 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 Yep. He's got these 2 units left, and I've got these 2 units left. It's me to activate. I have Fainting Maneuver in hand, and this was the game-changing moment, because I noted that even with a Swift Retreat, the 2-inch shift back wouldn't allow Greatjohn to see behind the Tully Cavaliers. So this charge, which turns out to be literally an auto-in, so I was a bit closer technically, but this charge is an auto-in even over the hedge. So I go for it, I roll not a 1, it's fine anyway, and I go into his rear. And he's vulnerable, and I do 5 wounds after everything. So he passes the panic, I believe. I don't spend the token on it, because I think he rolled like a 7 on a 7-up morale, like a 4-3, and I was like, nah, not worth it. If it's a 6-1, obviously it's different, but on a 4-3 it really isn't. So I done 6, then I passed panic, so net 5. Now the thing is, right, I'm gonna lose this Hago unit. Like, this unit is going to die, and this is where for me the learning moment is, I believe, in that I think this Weaken token probably was removed actually at this point from Cat. I think that's where Cat went on. And strangely enough, his next move, he activates this unit and smashes me in the flank here. I think it's that way, I think. He aligns. I am going to die. I take something horrific, like I failed a panic check as well because of the vicious and panic thing. I'm something like, I think I was on literally 1 wound, I think. No, I wasn't. I was on slightly more than that. I was on 5 wounds. This is the end of the round. Like, I've taken more damage than him. It is not like Hago is going to die. He's going to open swords next round. He is first player next round. He's going to open swords. But I have Jorah. And there's a Tully Cavaliers. I get into the flank. I charge him in the flank. 7 dice on 3s. I'm pretty sure Khaleesi was on them, so they automatically had rerolls. Don't care about the 1 that much. I hit them. I also had a fire and blood in hand for vicious. -3 panic check in the flank. Gets 2 extra wounds. 5 or 6 through the armor. 2 extra wounds. The Tully Cavaliers are dead. I believe North Members comes on this unit. This unit pivots and cycles back 5 inches. Something like that. And the key here is that this unit, even on the charge, might be slight again. I apologise, the angles are slightly off. He was outside of a 2-inch shift forward, which is what we discussed. And then an auto 10 because of the hedge. I've got Blood of the Dragon on this unit as well. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter that I've killed his Tully Cavaliers entirely and that this unit is going to die entirely. The important thing is we've made an effective trade. I'm going to score 2 VPs at the end of the round. He's going to score 1. It's 3-1. Use these, actually. I'm winning. And I've made I will make when he opens swords. Oh, he had played Last Stand, by the way, when the Tully Cavalier died and dropped them to 1 wound. We have a situation where he's going to open swords and kill me. He repositions 5 back so he can see me. And then he doesn't draw assault orders actually in the end, which is a little bit unlucky because he could have used it to catapult his things here. He didn't even particularly go for it though, in terms of discards. But he goes for the attack from swords with the Ravagers because he wants to reposition. And I think it is Catelyn, I can't remember, or Sansa. One of the two. And he repositions. Oh, it's Sansa. And the once per game kicks in and he takes back Last Stand. So the Last Stand goes back into his hand. And he repositions. And strangely enough, he kills this unit. Yeah, I was on 1 wound. Of course he killed me. He surges back. Now the thing is, I should probably move that on, shouldn't I? The thing here is quite simple. I don't want him to take horses because of swift reposition. So I just take horses. What do I do with horses? I don't really know. All I care about is I don't want him to have swift reposition. Because he moved this unit back, there was a chance to move Jorah up, basically, into this kind of gap here, and he was still out of charge range, so I did that with the horses. But more importantly, it means this unit can't just get into this unit. And the guy goes, okay, cool then. I charge. And he kills me. I'm dead. Go in the bin. He goes up another victory point. 2 from 2 kills. He's evened activations. Should probably do that differently, shouldn't I? So how do you handle aggression? And the answer is sometimes you handle aggression by just maneuvering. Maneuvering and then diving onto a unit that you just need to get rid of the game. This is the next unit I need to get killed. Because if I can kill this unit, I have cavalry. Cavalry that his infantry are going to find really difficult to catch. I'll fast forward to the end of the script. The Harakar ends here to give me another point. His Ravagers end up behind Great John, and Great John will move forward to like here, I think. And his Ravagers ended up behind them. Charge blocking the flank, something a little bit like this. I had last activation, of course, in this round. The Outriders don't really do much. They just kind of loll around. And I end the round by simply just going basically there. Oh, the dragon switched on. You can tell where this runs. Round 4 starts. Don't do anything fancy. Just activate charge. I think I have a fainting maneuver as well, so I go to here, and then I surge forth back 6 inches to here. And this is dead. Yeah, easily killed this. 8 dice with 3s on the charge. I scored 2 more. It's 6, and he scored 1 more, 4. Now, he goes on to then immediately declare this charge. And he kills it. Which is a little bit unlucky. I can't remember exactly what happened. I think I'd weakened him or something. But it actually worked out that he probably shouldn't have got all the hits. The Roderick tokens have been spent now for rerolls at some point. I can't remember the exactitudes. And he does actually have Assault Orders in hand, so obviously I don't take the risk, and I take the Mirion to Swords. Horses is still open. I do think he's going to do Horses at some point. I think he may have done Horses with this unit beforehand. Doesn't really matter. The point is we end up this round something like this. I'm activated, he's activated, and we've got a situation where this... There was Horses here actually to push this unit forward to catch the Outriders. This is what we were looking at. This one's weakened and this one's vulnerable from objectives or other things that have gone on. Tactics board's been full up. I've still got Zara tokens left. I score 1, he scores 1. It's getting close. But it also isn't. There's a big thing missing, and that is I have Betrayal. I played a Betrayal on this round. I was up to 8. I drew the second Betrayal. I went up to 9, and he charged here at the start of the next round without Assault Orders. Or with this, without Assault Orders, because he had to Assault Orders charge here first. The Assault Orders just charged here. I had Swift Retreat. I move out to about here. He turns to face, like so. But he can't really do anything, because if he doesn't get back to the objective, I will just run over here, or stay here. He won't be able to get anything, so he has to turn to face the objective, otherwise he's not going to reach it. He's slightly off, yeah. Because otherwise he will not get the objective at all, and I will just outscore him. And then I proceed to take Horses and just back out to here. I end up winning 10-7. As the final result. This unit moves on to here. And there was probably a victory point somewhere along the line that I've missed giving him. It's not about killing your opponent. It's about round 1 and round 2, I believe. Yeah. It's not about killing your opponent. It's about killing your opponent's important things. The important thing to note here is I never once attacked the Berserkers and never once attacked Great John. I have no interest in doing so. I do not waste effort, time, or resources even thinking about doing so. I'm not interested. They're hard units for me to kill, and until I've dealt with the cavalry, they're not a priority. Play the movement game. It's what the list, it's what units are good for. That is always going to be more beneficial, and focus your fire in getting kills. You'll notice I only ever made attacks against these 2 cavalry units. Literally, only ever attacked those 2. They lost 2 wounds by the end of the game because they took 2 wounds from the Auto 6. I never attacked anything that wasn't those 2 cavalry units. And I have no intention of attacking anything else. It's not important. I can pull him around, score victory points from the zones and the objectives, and just be a general menace and waste his time. I think I even still misuse the Harakars slightly. You know, I'm not remembering the exact game in the exact sequences. But, you know, which does matter, right? It does matter that you have like the exactitude of when things happen. But ultimately, it's just about controlling the movement of the game. You aren't interested in doing anything else but controlling the movement. Because that is what will win or lose a game, and you have full control over that. And that's why the Screamers come in so much use. Because the Screamers have the good movement values, while also having, when you talk about Hago, very consistent damage output. Like, very consistent damage output. And Hago keeps them going. If you keep him alive, he just keeps going with Fueled by Slaughter. That's the concept of the list. That's the deployment and also how it played. We played on an open field. There was no terrain. I did not have a single palisade to help gum up the game, which people see me play before. I tend to use palisades a lot to help gum the game up. Palisade here would have meant this unit basically did nothing all game. Yeah, and I'd have scored this victory point with a Harakar. I'd have had a Harakar around here. I would have challenged this in a charge and just stopped him from scoring 1 point for a turn, in the potential to then retreat out, etc., etc. I had no intention of killing these units, and I didn't have terrain that suited my army, but it didn't matter. Okay? Because take openings when they're there. The Targ deck was fine for me. And then I could play Betrayal, which is a great card from Jorah. Really good. It just ends games. Or if you're playing Banners and Butchery, the other player can't play defensively because you can just win 1-0. It gives you a burst to end a game before a player realises the game's going to end. Yeah? So many things about Jorah. Fainting Maneuver. Opportunity is great if you get to open with swords and you don't want to spend Danny to remove a token yet. Play Opportunist. Get that rerolls Precision and Vicious potentially with Jorah, or just Precision or Vicious and the rerolls with anyone else. Marshal. Great. Extra healing. Something that Drogo doesn't have. You just heal up all your cavalry, especially after a swift retreat, because you can swift retreat 1 inch if your opponent's activated and you're not. Marshal, heal 3, remove any tokens they might have had on you, and charge them back in. You didn't need that cavalry maneuver. Lol. Swift Retreat, brilliant card. Much better than Overrun, which you remove with Jorah. And finally, Jorah does have the fairly... it's all right, you know. It's an okay card in... forget the name. Know the effect, forget the name. That's all of them. Opportunist, yeah, Opportunist is good. Marshal is good. Betrayal is good. And yeah, Fainting Maneuver. That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah, Fainting Maneuver is great. Not amazing, but great. People, I may have listened in the video earlier, there was a unit of Bowman. Greyjoy Bowman on 3 wounds, and my Outriders were here on like 4 or 4 wounds or something. And I realised that actually he'd gone forward slightly. It was Corpse Pile, Feast for Crows, and he'd gone forward to here. And I realised that I could actually charge him in the flank and then pop up over here, and that would take me away from a unit that was here, ready to charge me. If I killed this unit, he could charge me, as it turns out, in the front. But if I went here and got the kill, I could actually surge 4th, 6th that way, and it would mean that my opponent wouldn't be able to catch me, because all of a sudden I'm just nowhere near him. And that won me the game against Steve. That kind of maneuver to deny your opponent a victory point potentially, and also keep more units on the field, won me the game against Steve as a Greyjoy player. Fainting Maneuver. Just straight up won me the game. Oh, but you could have rolled a 1 on the charge. Yeah, but I have charge rerolls in the base deck. Unstoppable Advance is like fine. Betrayal really helped me win games, ultimately, and just close games out all of a sudden. The Harakars just did what they need to do, score victory points and be a nuisance. Yeah. Honestly, I love the list. I love playing the list, and it's a list where all of your damage comes from 2 units, really, which is the 2 Screamers. But if your opponent has a weak list, like units that are susceptible to Vicious, or things that can save on paper, etc., then the Hurricars are suddenly really dangerous, and the Outriders are never not dangerous because of precision. So all of a sudden, you've got 5 units on the board that actually all do good amounts of damage. So they've all got to be respected. But really, all you care about is the Screamers. Like, it's actually all you really care about. The other stuff's just ancillary. But it all has to be respected. Miri with the tokens is ridiculous. Zaro tokens are really good at keeping you alive and your opponent taking more wounds. The sustain is just insane. Fueled by Slaughter's great. I love it. Not so much in this game, but in other games. I survived on 1 wound. I survived on 1 wound with Hago after being charged by Jorah because Hago had healed 2 wounds and it put him over the threshold of likely damage kill. And he survived on 1. Made my opponent just that little bit more inefficient in killing him. Did he get killed? Yeah, Drogo killed Hago in the end. But it was that 1 extra activation that was required to win the game. I basically bought an Assault Orders out of my deck with the ability Fueled by Slaughter. If you have ability called Fueled by Slaughter, you pay 2 points for this building immediately, or 1 point. And you say, pay 1 point for Fueled by Slaughter, and it removes 1 Assault Orders from a Drogo deck. Would you pay it? Ramsey Reek in Unsullied Swordmasters. They had a fun time in a Martell game. It was fully surrounded. When I say fully surrounded, this is as close as you get to fully surrounded in the modern game, I think. When no units have died at this point, I'll add. Not a single unit has yet died. And we had a position like this. Terrain is all different, and I'm not going to bother trying to sort all of that out, so we'll just delete it for now. And this was on... I can't even remember what game mode it was. It wasn't Clash, it was game 1. It wasn't Feast. Oh, it was Dance with Dragons. Yeah, because Danny got the middle token and moved her. She literally moved in a big circle all game, 2 inches a turn or 2 inches around. But this is Shane. So Shane came second in the end, and he played his Ulla 8 activation list. Ironically, my opponent gave me pass tokens this game. Not something I thought would ever happen, because no one ever seems to play lists in the game like I seem to want to play, so I was surprised. But yeah, the situation was this. Like, no, brilliant. Massacre. It was something like this, right? And then the dragon was just like chilling over here. Danny had the point here. Dancer Dragon, so obviously it moves. Jorah's over here. He's got his other unit of Outriders coming around the flank. He doesn't want to engage like Danny at all. This unit's got a victory point over here. And yeah, Jorah's got the other one over this side. And this is like kind of thing. So these are all activated out. You know, there's a bit of a mesh. This one hasn't activated yet. And he goes, sod it. I could go and take this objective here, or I could just go and kill this unit. He charges. And I think I might be on that many wounds, actually. or slightly more. And this is where it all goes wrong for him. Like, literally all goes wrong. He actually aligns. Oops. He actually aligns like that, which is an interesting decision, I think. I think that's right. Because it gave him retreat options with his other units, which is actually like viable. And you could argue, oh, it's luck or whatever, but the actual odds here with the gang up, it was there actually. The actual odds there with the gang up is that he probably won't kill me, just about, because he still probably has to make me feel a panic. This is where it all goes to shit. Because this unit got charged and it's down to like here. This unit has not taken any damage yet. The dragon comes in, deals like not quite full 2 ranks. I think it's like down to here. There's panic tokens every fucking unit, weakened tokens on every fucking unit imaginable. There's just a whole load of tokens out there. On my opponent anyway. My opponent charges, and I'm down to that many wounds. And I open, can't be weakened. because I'm unsullied, or it can be, but it can't be used. I start the next round. I take the swords. I put Barry on this unit specifically, and I kill this unit, and I heal 4. And my opponent's like, crap, probably should try and kill him, but I've not got good odds. I'm weakened on everything because I've, it's something like this is over here by this point. This unit's already turned round. I weaken, resolve, or threatened this unit to start the round after the charge. So he's not looking great, not feeling great. So he opts to, I think it's horses or something. I can't remember. He might have just activated a unit and attacked. I don't really remember exactly. And then I activate here and I attack this unit. And I kill it. And I heal another 3. Gone. And then I have a Miri activation. I'd taken bags. Oh no, he took bags and I took a Varus or something. And then I had a Miri activation. And for want of a better term, I ended up something like that. And my opponent is now struggling because he can't get in here because Danny's moved up at some point. He can't effectively get in here to help out. He doesn't want to attack Danny at all. And he doesn't know what to do. Basically, that's it. I've lost Reek. I've never even used Reek once. Nothing panicked from Reek. But it didn't matter. It was game over. I had more objectives and everything like that. Something like this. It's genuinely how stupid it ended up looking. And so my opponent ends up backing out with this unit. So screws off over here. And this game ends in a crushing win. Because I've killed 2 units and he can't take these objectives off me. The long and short of it, there's probably more to it than just that. But it gives you a bit of an insight, right? These lists that you're not trying to kill your opponent all the time. It's about just having fights where you want fights to happen. No swamps, no walls, yeah. How do you charge the front and have them in the back? Am I missing something? How do you charge the front and hit them in the back? Not so much charging the front and hitting them in the back. I charge, I don't know, referencing probably the bowman. I charge the front, or I charge the flank of the bowman, hit them in the rear with outriders because of feinting maneuver. And with the Tully Cavaliers, it was the same thing. But yeah, something like this is what ended up happening. And I was just a ball of mass in this whole area, the whole time. But he never once could attack Danny. It's just a ridiculous panic check. And this unit took some wounds early on, like 1 or 2, but passed the panic check from a Harmonella weakened charge, and I was able to retreat off with sudden retreat. Surprise, fucking surprise. Really don't be afraid to run these lists balls to the wall a little bit and be very aggressive with positioning, be aggressive with the way you want to play the list. They aren't aggressive lists. It's not about being aggressive with the list. It's about positioning aggressively and threatening your opponent. Because if your opponent feels threatened, they're more likely to make mistakes. And making mistakes is all that matters. Right? It's all you need to worry about is, can you make your opponent make mistakes? Because mistakes can be punished. So hopefully it gives you a bit of insight. Kind of like how you might use the list, how it works. The game against Dan would be very interesting to kind of break apart because that was a Banners and Butchery. And that game very much was like he could have lost by standing still because he has 13 points of NCUs. Or he could have lost by standing still because I have Betrayal. Or he should have come out. And there's a really good learning thing there where he came out with Sand Skirms at the top of the round on horses. And it just gives me so much time to take them apart. And he's unable to support himself with the rest of the force. So it was a risky play from him, and it just didn't work out very well. But yeah. Love the NGT. It was great fun. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully that gives a bit of an insight to Targ, and specifically those 2 lists. Certainly the Jorah list. And how you manage aggression as well. In that you manage aggression by just being quick and positioning quite defensively. and then just closing the distance when it's your turn to close the distance. You'll take a hit. Don't worry. But if your opponent wants to be aggressive into you and you're at higher activations, because they're likely a 7, they're going to have to move forward at some point, and then it's about taking what you're given. Just take what you're given. Control that space and take what you're given. With all of that in mind, I was actually going to show you some of the painting stuff. So this was old man Steve Darkman on stats. Steve Butler, who came second in the painting competition with these lovely Greyjoys, which I had never seen him painted up before, so probably quite a newer painting expedition for him. He uses the Geek Gaming Scenic stuff, which is interesting because I used to watch Luke APS on YouTube, who has since quit YouTube and things like that. Wants to get out of that whole space. But really, one of the guys I not grew up, but like did a lot of hobby watching when I was learning hobbying again and learning kind of good techniques and where to get good stuff. So check out Geek Gaming Scenics, especially in the UK. But they do have retailers worldwide. If you've ever looked at them, it's not cheap, but it is good stuff. Luke Durham. So I met Luke the Duke from Duke's Gaming in Wales. Lovely bloke. I already knew him obviously from when we'd done Tourney Ground together and conversations we'd had. But yeah, lovely bloke. And lovely painted Baratheons. These Baratheons are absolutely lovely. And I swear I've seen a picture of these before, but he's got like a black and white checkerboard pattern on the bottom of his cots. And it's just lovely. Honestly, lovely unit. Fully recommend checking his stuff out. Also, really nicely painted MCP army that he brought with himself as well. This was Aaron's. This is Midnight Aaron, the TO, his Boltons. And I didn't realise what the theme was when I saw them. I looked at them and thought, that's just really stylish and interesting. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before. And then someone said, oh yeah, it's like they're meant to be like ghostly. And so they're painted in like full colour and then like the grey, bluey, greeny ghost form using like the contrast. And someone said that, I was like, yeah, amazing, brilliant. I think it's a super unique idea. I've never seen anyone come up with that kind of theme before for song. And I think Aaron's executed it really well here. I was really impressed by Aaron's stuff. Yeah, I genuinely thought this was brilliant. And he said it was an idea born of only wanting, like, he wanted to halve the amount of painting he did. And this was his idea, and I was like, it was absolutely brilliant. Utterly brilliant idea. Awesome. Super proud of that, mate. It should be great. I mean, it's just epic. I really like that army. This is Alan, who was the event organizer, who notoriously hasn't done painting in like 25 years. There's his Grey Worm and his Drogo. This got like 2 or 3 votes, so well done, Alan. This is Fuzzages from Wales. His nice little Dothraki army with his dragons. John, the painting winner, who's another member of our club. John Garside with his finally now finished Targ army with all the plants and everything. He's gone for like a like Dothraki sea style vibe, and it works really well. I really like this. His Sarikars are great as well. Yeah, overall just a really nice army, and I'm so glad he's got it finished. And a worthy painting winner, to be honest. It's a really nice looking army in the flesh, and it just themes nicely. Yeah, spot on. As mine, I didn't win, obviously. I don't care. I was able to put an army out as for potential best painted. That's it. That's all I cared about. So you see all of it in the flesh, all that heartache. And there's Dan's. Dan is obviously Clubmate Dan. There's his complete Martell army, which is lovely. Absolutely lovely. If you've never seen it before, do go and have a look at it. It is a beautiful army. So there we go. Just thought I'd show you the painting competition stuff. And again, like people who aren't in the UK might not know this, might not know how things are done. I don't know. But on Saturday night at the NGT, we obviously, if you saw the video, we go for a curry, right? It's very common at the GTs that we try and have like a meal together for the guys who are there, and gather a bit of a get together. So you can see this absolutely terribly blurry photo that Steve took. This is like the 4th version of this photo. We're all having a curry. I think there's like 14 or 15 of the 24 people at the curry. And so we just have a sit chat, and you talk to people you haven't seen in a while. And it's all from different parts. You've got Connor there in the bottom right corner, and you can't quite see it. Just see Ross's bald head, Joyce's bald head entering the frame in the bottom right. Those guys are from Scotland. At the far end, you can just about see Luke with a big bearded, blurred face. That's the Welsh guys, right? You've got Alan and the DMG guys next to me. I'm sat with the Liverpudlian crew. It's just everyone getting together, having a laugh, having a beer, and some of them went out on the night as well and got very drunk. But it's a celebration, right? What the GTs are is a celebration of the community and of the people, and we say it every year, but people are what make the events. I've said that many times at LGT, French, US. It's always the people that make these events. It's not just the playing the game, right? I just want to make that very clear so everyone knows it's the people. Wouldn't go if the people weren't awesome, and that's every person as well, like literally every person. So yeah, yeah. Overall, a fantastic weekend. I know it's kind of been a bit of a brain dump today, with lots of ideas and that weird kind of like life vlog type thing at the start. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch the first 30 minutes or so, because that is a real weird experience of going into my brain of pre-tournament stuff. Yeah, the final selection on Jorah. I just love the Jorah list. And the Mother of Dragons, because it was different, and I think it faced off well into Targs. I think it faced off well into melee-based lists, potentially. I should have probably played this into Greyjoys, but I thought, fuck it, I want to play Jorah. I probably should have played the Mother of Dragons into Greyjoys. I think Steve beat me on list selection there, to be honest, and that's why the game was so hard as well. I think I really like Mother of Dragons into Martells. Queen of Marine into Martells. I really like Queen of Marine into Lannisters, potentially, as well. But yeah, apart from that, I'm playing Jorah all day. Love Jorah. I think he's got so much going for him, and I think the fact that he shits on Drogo, in my opinion, with a Dothraki army, just makes me all the more happy. I might make some changes to it in the future, but I love it as is. I think the synergies work well. There's no key pieces that need to function. Everything has its place, and there's an ability to pick up slack in the list from other things. Someone mentioned like removing Hago and having Jorah in vets instead. So Jorah vets, Naked Screamers, Naked Outriders, Harakar, and the 3 NCUs. But for me, it's like the vets are like a combo piece then, and you need the Screamers and the vets to finish things together, and that's fine, but you really just want one unit to be able to do it itself if need be, in case the other unit dies. Plus bringing Hago back in Jorah's unit is sick. Weaken token dodging is sick. Veterans are incredibly weak to weaken tokens as well, with the 4+ to hit on the range. It's just fucking sad. Yeah, overall, really like the list pairing. Really think they complemented each other fairly well. I probably didn't pick them fully correctly for the event in every mode. But yeah, should have played Feast of Crows with Queen and Marine almost definitely. Into Vic as well. So yeah, that's my kind of brain dump. I think that's it. There's other things in the future we'll discuss probably. I'll probably be back next week with some cool stuff, maybe talking about another element of the game, because there have been some suggestions, which is good. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes, see how it vibes. I might be going down to once every 2 weeks as well, so I haven't decided fully yet, but I might be moving in the direction of doing once every 2 weeks, depending on what I'm kind of thinking, what I'm kind of wanting to do. Because it's difficult for me to come up with ideas at the moment. I could get more guests on, I could do a lot more things, but I've also got kind of work commitments and stuff, longer days now. So yeah, I'm I'm not decided really what I want to do yet. But I'll still be going for the moment. Trying to bring some new stuff, bring some different stuff, some maybe random stuff like I just did for the NGT there, in terms of just me grabbing a random 5 minutes going, what about this thing that I just thought about? So hopefully people like that kind of stuff. And yeah. Go and check out Always Winter. Always Winter, the Scottish GT. Tickets are on sale, so hype for that next one in the cycle. It might be smaller this year. A few people said they can't make it, some other things going on. But yeah, really hoping that the Scottish GT picks up numbers. That's probably the next event I'm likely to go to. Also check out the LGT down in London later this year. And obviously the Invitational, which if you don't know is next year. The tickets are basically sold out for the Invitational. Even the last round of tickets that Carlo released. So it's unlikely there's going to be much more. There's still tickets allocated to various national winners, etc., etc. So not all the spaces have been filled, but I think all the tickets that have been made available so far have sold, and there are not many more tickets available outside of those players who are going to be invited. That's not to say that there aren't going to be tickets, but there are a lot of people signed up already for the Invitational, as well as a lot of international players. I'm really hoping for that to be, and I know Carlo is as the organizer, but as a player and as a content creator, I'm really hoping for that to be the biggest melting pot of players that we can have. We've already got 72 people signed up so far. I believe it's 100, if I remember rightly, is the maximum size that Carlo has it at. And that's not including, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people on the waiting list. So that's 88 people potentially interested in turning up and playing the game. So I'm really looking forward to playing against a load of people, meeting a bunch of people I've never met before, and just generally having a great time there. So yeah. Also, I didn't cover Welsh GT. Someone said I didn't cover Welsh GT. Is it because it was won by a 2 NCU list? I'm going to settle that debate just immediately, and the answer is no. That's not why I didn't cover it. I simply didn't cover it because I was busy that week. I couldn't do Tourney Ground that week, and I really wanted to get Luke and Scadders on to discuss it, and then I just never got around to organising it. It's my fault. I should have covered it. That's my bad, and sorry to Scadders, sorry to Luke, sorry to Fuzz, and to the guys who went to Wales, right? Because the Welsh GT is a superb event. I've never been, right? I really want to go next year. I said to Luke, I seriously will make it to play in the Welsh GT, but I didn't make it, right? And I didn't give it the love that it could well ultimately deserve. And obviously, congratulations to Grant for winning the Welsh GT way back then with Starks. We see Tully Cavaliers doing it, and it's with Eddard Sansa. Again, Eddard, Tully. This is like a standard format list, right? He opts for the Great Axes, which is fair, not the option I would go for, and he does it with Great John, which is fair. I prefer the Rob angle myself, and dropping down the Wolf and so on and so forth. But credit where credit's due, well done to Grant there. And it's a 2 NCU list. Generally speaking, we talk about activations nowadays. The 3 NCU versus 2 NCU debate is over. If people didn't know that, it's not a question of 3 versus 2. It was always, as we found out, a question of activations and how activations were always stronger. That's not actually, strictly speaking, true anymore across all the factions, right? It isn't true that more activations wins. You can clearly see that. I mean, that's ridiculous. There's only 28 games, but that's ridiculous. But 51% on a 6 activation. They have 49% on a 7. Then they drop to 45 and 43. Right? Starks are having. Well, that's season 3. I don't know why season 3 came up first. Okay, that's not right. Actually, it turns out their 8 activations and 9 activations are doing the best at the moment in Season 4. There you go. Take that back. Season 4. 7s, 6s, Maybe activations is just the way forward. Eight, 9, 6, 7, 7. And that's for Baratheon. Wow. Incredible. 9 activation. Oh, God, I know that list. Jesus, that is that's a tight list. It's only got like 9 games to be fair. But there you go. Anyway, yeah, activations was always the debate, not really NCUs. It's just whether or not you preferred certain NCUs or not. So yeah. The other piece of news, and this is oh yeah, one NCU Boltons, which I don't believe is right, but Aaron believes is that there's a one NCU Bolton list that might work. I don't think it will. I don't think it's right. I think it's too abusable on the tactics board. But Aaron is determined to make it, find it, and see how it works, and he thinks he can make it work. So go for it, Aaron. Prove me wrong. You know, go and smash an event with a one NCU list. I would be genuinely like, well done. You know what I mean? Like that is finding it and making it work is really awesome. So yeah. Another last point, and I say this because it's just I'm tooting my own horn here. You know, this is my perspective of the game and ultimately my show. So fuck yes. No, I'm tooting my own horn here because I can. And that is, I finally broke the 2155 barrier. Again, the number that Mikkel knows full and well. 2158 as of the last game. Your move, Larks. Who's been trying to get up there, and yeah, I'm a happy camper. I'm a happy player. I won with Jorah. I like Jorah. I think Jorah's fun. I didn't use Drogo. Like, I had a great weekend. I'm tired. I'm not going to stay up till 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. This evening, painting units. I'm going to go and have a ham kind of ciabatta bread thing with so maybe beef. Ooh. Or a corned beef sandwich. It's hot here in the UK at the moment. It's probably going to be thunderstorms. And yeah, I'm gonna chill out and I'm gonna relax. I'm not gonna get all stressed about painting and playing, and gonna go have a good time. And I realised just how much I love the game when I sat down and played it on Saturday morning. I know last time I did Tourney Ground, people said I was a bit down and it wouldn't inspire new players into the game. I sat down and played something that wasn't the faction I normally play, with an army that I painted, and I realised just how much I love the game. Don't get me talking rules, don't get me talking interactions, don't get me talking all that. That doesn't make me happy. That makes me sad. Makes me really sad. But the game itself, playing the game, the awesome people in the community that make this game awesome, is just second to none. Can't beat it. So thank you to everyone who plays and ultimately everyone who puts on the events as well. All right, let's have a look at some upcoming events. We've got an event in Burghausen in Germany, 16-player event this week. We've got an event in Russia, an event in Spain at Three Meeples, the first tournament of the Three Meeples group. An event in Kielce, it's probably butchered that pronunciation, I apologise, in Poland. An event in Bornell, France. A 40-player event. Ooh. Look, this one, 15 so far, and quite a few people on the waiting list. That's an interesting one. That will be a good one to watch this weekend, guys. See if any news comes out of there. Watch that one, because that's a 40-player event. An event, we've got various different national qualifiers this weekend. I was talking to the guys in New Jersey, actually, Jay Bohr among them. Brotherhood of Broken Banners national qualifier. Do check out some of the stuff from like Under the Hedge and the Brothers of the Broken Banners YouTube channels that have started up. They're more recent YouTube channels doing battle reports. Check them out. Bit of a different style and different take, and I think they're actually really like they're valid. I think they're solid watches. So do check them out, guys. I think it's great. NOLA qualifiers in LA. We've got event in Kentucky, We've got an event in Arizona. We've got an event in Shanghai Fight Club. Love to see that. Keep that going, Shanghai Fight Club. Love it. Another event in Russia, an event in Finland this weekend. That's the no pack guys. It's quite low in numbers at the moment. But there's the no pack guys, an event in Helsinki. And Vela Morgulis on the same. Nights of Summer might be for the new players, and Vela Morgulis might be for experienced players. Yes, that makes sense. So I was going to say, split the games, I'm guessing, and they're running 2 different events for newer players and for more experienced players. Which, if that is the case, awesome. It's cool. Love that. An event in Madrid this weekend, as well as an event in Game Night in Denmark. Good to see the Danish crew getting an event in this week. An event in Berlin in Germany, and an event in Gdansk, Poland, and Tacoma, Washington. There's also ELO Balance tournament starting up. I think that's a one-day, it's a league type event, and another TTS event for anyone below 1600 to take part in. So you can avoid some of the sharks. That's all starting next week. So if you're interested in playing a TTS event where you won't have the same kind of like top tier players, but you'll get a chance to be more competitive with newer players or less experienced players, or simply less players that are more experienced but in theory more of your level. Atissa on the main Discord is putting that on. Links in the Tourney Ground page, Tourney Ground channel of the main Discord is where you'll see all the information. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 19/20 events starting this week, guys. Do check them all out. Go and enjoy your games. Oh, LA is Louisiana. I don't know why I thought it was Los Angeles. You can tell I'm tired. Go and enjoy the game. Go and enjoy your games. Good luck to all your competitors. I'm really interested to see that French event with 40 players. Let's see who comes down on the top there. And yeah, I hope that everyone has a great week. Maybe 2 weeks. I might be back next week. Maybe not. But if not, I'll be definitely back in 2 weeks' time. I'll post. And yeah, have a great time. Keep being awesome, and I'll see you then.